Hey, JCake here, and I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Well, welcome back everyone. It's been 2 weeks since I posted a fantasy football video. If you have been looking at the channel, you will have seen I posted one of my NCAA revamped videos, so make sure you're looking at that. There's another video coming out here soon. But in the 2 weeks that we have missed, I have been dealing with, obviously, Thanksgiving, so happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone. Also, some family issues, just the dog. I say just the dog, I love my dog, but was acting sick the last few days, so that delayed this past week's video. So he's okay, though. I'm taking him for another checkup tomorrow, so hopefully everything is going to be good with him. But again, in the last 2 weeks in the NFL, we have seen some high-scoring affairs. We've seen some duds. We've seen some promotions as far as players moving up into starting lineups for various reasons, including injuries. We've also seen some firings, from coaches to demotions. You know, you've been fired from your starting position. Mac Jones, I think he's gone through it multiple times in the same week. Like, yes, you're a starter. I don't know. We're going to put Bailey Zappi in. Oh, wait, you're going to be a starter again. So, who knows? The New England Patriots are a dysfunctional mess right now. We have seen some truly terrible play from some teams, including the Patriots. But I think right now I'm thinking of specifically the Panthers. The Carolina Panthers gave up so much for Bryce Young. And I don't want to give up on the young man yet. However, you've got to think, with all that they gave up to get Bryce Young, including right now, the number one pick in this upcoming draft, you have to say it's been a bust so far. I know it's only been 12 games. So, but come on, man, it's tough. As someone with roots in Carolina, obviously I have a lot of friends in Carolina. They do not like the state of the affairs for the Carolina Panthers right now. I don't blame them. As a Washington Red Potatoes fan, I was so happy to get Snyder out of there, and it's been pretty bad because we've given the Giants 2 of their 3 wins this year. Come on, man, that's sad. That hurts my heart. But you know what else hurts my heart? The fact that there's still a chance I could not make the playoffs in some of my leagues. I know, it's scary. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get right to it. We're going to start with the Party Time Party Boys. For each team, I'm going to tell you the Week 11 results, including the people I added, the people I dropped, the people who did well, the people who did poorly. Then the Week 12 results with the exact same layout. Then I'll tell you my overall record, where I am in the division, and where I am in the overall league. So again, Party Time Party Boys, first team we're going to talk about. In Week 11, I lost 128 to 119. The high scorers for me include Jahmyr Gibbs with 21 points, Buffalo Bills defense with 21 points, and Jayden Reed with 19 points. The guys who did not help me at all included one man, De'Von Achane, who got me 1.5 points. The most frustrating point about that is I sat Ty Chandler, who got me 15 points, and Jameson Williams, who got me 12 points. Starting either one of those guys would have given me the win, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, can't look back on the past, but just hurts knowing that I could have had one more win. The action this week included Ty Chandler and Jayden Reed, one of which I should have started and one of which I did start, and the drops included Geno Smith and Chuba Hubbard. I bounced back in Week 12 with a win, 135 to 112. My highest scorers included Mike Evans with 25 points, Rashee Rice with 24 points, and Patrick Mahomes with 20 points. The guys who were duds for me included Ty Chandler, who I just talked about potentially winning me the game, having only 2 points, along with the Buffalo Bills, who were one of my top scorers last week, also only getting me 2 points. The only add drop for this week included the Ravens tight ends. I added Isaiah Likely and dropped Mark Andrews. Splitting these 2 weeks left me with a record of 7-5, second overall in my division and 5th overall in the league. We absolutely positively have to make sure we do better in these next few weeks to ensure a spot in the playoffs. We're going to shift gears now and talk about the deranged Easter Bunny team. For Week 11, I was able to come up with the win, 160 to 133. Back to my leading scorers, Tank Dell, who had 34 points, and Tyreek Hill, who had 36 points. The frustrating thing about this week was I lost Joe Burrow, leaving me with a very uninspiring quarterback room of Sam Howell and a Week 12 pickup that you'll hear about in just a second. The only adds and drops for Week 11 included Trey McBride at tight end and dropping Michael Thomas. Speaking of Week 12, I did unfortunately lose 209 to 151. I had high scores including Tyreek Hill, who had 31, King Henry, who had 22, and Josh Dobbs, who had 33. Yeah, that was the other quarterback I had to start and added. Unfortunately, I did start Dobbs over Sam Howell, who had 62 points, and Jordan Addison over Rashee Rice. I know I don't know why I started Addison over Rice, but I did. Rice had another 30 points. I would have lost either way, but it would have been closer with a 209 to 201 score. But again, hindsight's 2020, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Because I was able to utilize one of my IR spots for Joe Burrow, I didn't have to drop anyone, and I was able to add Josh Dobbs this week. By splitting these 2 weeks, I am left with an 8-4 record, second overall in my league, and third in the division, even though I have the second best record, and I have a better record than the person leading the other division, but because they're the leader in that division, they get the seed spot over me, so I have the second best record, but I'm third in the league. So, you know how that goes. In any case, we have a few weeks left for playoffs, and I'm guaranteed a spot, so I'm excited. We just have to make sure we do what we can to overtake the number one guy who we end up playing this week. So, let's see what we can do and make sure that we put our best guys out on the field. And, not Josh Dobbs. Let's move to the ESPN platform and talk about the majestic juggernauts. In Week 11, I lost 113 to 102. Some of the guys that did their very best to help me come out with the win, but just came up a little short, included Dallas' defense, who got me 23 points, Tank Dell, who got me 20 points, and Jalen Hurts, who got me 18 points. Jahmyr Gibbs was a very close fourth in my leading scorers with 14 points. As far as the people who didn't help me at all, essentially the other people on my team only scored single digits. But the ones that really stood out, Christian Kirk and Jordan Addison both only scored 4 points. And Logan Thomas only scored 3 points for us, so he was another dud. Speaking of Thomas, he was our only add for the week as we dropped the Lions defense for him. With a much better outcome in Week 12, we won 101 to 67. I had a huge game from Jalen Hurts, who got me 40 points, and Jordan Addison only got me 3 points, so that was no bueno. There were no adds and drops for this week, so we'll go ahead and move to our overall record and where we stand within the division and the league. I am 6-6 with this split 2-week span. I am third overall in my division and 6th overall in the league. The top 6 teams do make the playoffs, so that leaves me a 75% chance to still make the playoffs. There are 2 weeks left, so I have to make sure I do well in these 2 weeks to get into the winner's bracket. Speaking of playoffs, let's move to the Vince McMahon Football Club, where I feel very confident about our chances of making the playoffs. In Week 11, I was able to come up with a very close victory, 143 to 136. Some of the guys that helped me to this win include the Dallas defense, who got 50 points. I don't think this is the first time they've scored 50 for me in fantasy, and I'm looking forward to them continuing to score so well for me as long as it gets me to the championship. And as long as I don't have to use their defense in the playoffs, because we all know the Cowboys choke in the playoffs. Another person who scored huge for me included Calvin Ridley, who got me 24 points, and Keenan Allen, who scored 19 for me. Some of the guys that did not help at all included Travis Etienne with 5 points, Christian Kirk with 4 points, Tyler Boyd and Mark Andrews each with 2 points, and A.J. Brown with 0.5 points. And for Week 12, I was able to come out with the win again, 153 to 95. Some of the guys that helped me most to this victory was Jalen Hurts with 39 points, the Dallas defense again appearing on my top scorers with 29 points, and Calvin Ridley again showing up on my top scorers with 17 points. Some of the guys that did not help at all, or much at all, included Brian Robinson, who got me 6 points, and Taysom Hill only got me 5 points. He had a few huge weeks, and now he's just falling off the face of the earth. Another unfortunate thing about this week is I sat Kyron Williams, who scored 33 points for me. I still won, but how much more could I have won by? That would have been a crazy score. There are no adds and drops for Week 11 or Week 12, so let's go ahead and get to my overall standings and the playoff picture. These 2 wins leave me with an 8-4 record, second overall in my division and third overall in the league. Even though I'm actually the second best team in the league, the person who's leading the other division is ahead of me, so that's why I have to say third overall in the league. I've already clinched a spot in the playoffs, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm looking forward to making sure some of the guys that I pick up and or drop are going to help me the most and not benefit the other teams who are going to also make the playoffs. Speaking of some of those guys, let's go ahead and get to the people I think you should add and drop. Number 1 being Russell Wilson. Yeah, you heard me right. Russell Wilson. 4 of his next 5 games are against some of the worst pass defenses in the league. His only threat is going to be against the Detroit Lions. So if you are in need of a quarterback like some of us may be, with some guys going down, some guys just not performing well, and some of the flashes in the pan like Josh Dobbs fizzling out, Russell Wilson might be a guy to pick up. A running back you should pick up. Jonathan Taylor went down with a thumb injury. He's having surgery, so he's going to be out. Zach Moss is going to be taking over the reins again. Not a whole lot sexy happening in Indianapolis. You do have Josh Downs. You also do have Michael Pittman Jr. doing their thing, but I think that Zach Moss might be someone for your running back room if you need someone. As far as wide receiver and or tight end, if you need someone, I would again look at the New Orleans Saints offense. It's not going to blow you away, especially, God forbid, if Jameis Winston is your quarterback. But A.T. Perry and Lynn Bowden Jr., Taysom Hill, that trio might be getting more looks. I'm going to go ahead and assume Shaheed is taken in all your leagues, so if he's available, pick him up. Obviously, Kamara is probably taken in all your leagues. Again, those 3, A.T. Perry, Lynn Bowden, and Taysom Hill, probably be the guys that if you absolutely positively need someone, those would be the guys to pick up. As far as defense, go ahead and pick up Tampa Bay if they are available, because they are going against the Carolina Panthers. That's really enough said. Well, I want to thank you for joining in for this recap of Weeks 11 and Week 12 of my fantasy football leagues. I am looking forward to talking to you more, especially as we inch closer week by week to the playoffs, and I'm looking forward to bringing home a ship to this channel for you all. This is J-Cake, and I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.